you shut down all those departments that don't belong there, the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Education, and all of those other agencies that have been created, and believe me, the federal budget will go down and we will save taxes. And the will of the people will then actually be followed because it will be at your local levels. It will no longer be in Washington, run by people who never come to this state and see what we want and answer our questions. And, you know, they have no right to do anything other than what's in the Constitution. That's what I will say, John, is a strict constitutionalist, and that includes the IRS.
Yeah, right?
You know, I mean, that's across the board. I'd like to address the comment on, you know, John's position on the wars, I mean, since it was brought up.
Mm-hmm.
And
quickly.
Okay,
please.
Well, in the Constitution it states that, you know, the president is not allowed to declare a war. That is done by the Congress. And all of these wars that we are now in have not been approved by our Congress. Now, there are instances, of course, where this country has to defend itself. But those are they should be few and far between. They should be decided by the Congress. There should be extensive discussion about this. We are sending our children off to be killed. In defense of what? And I think that that needs to be discussed in total in front by the Congress with everyone hearing it. We don't just send them off because the president decides that he's not happy with one country or another, and we don't have any say.
Okay, that was a great job, guys. We're gonna mix it up a little bit. We're gonna get some more.
Hey, John, just one point to illustrate
right.
why we are where we are and how this accelerator has been pushed. President Obama and the desperate need for business concepts, how to run the government. President Obama in his cabinet has only 9% people who have business background running a business.
Absolutely.
That's the lowest percentage by a long shot of any president in the last 150 years.
Well, I said from the beginning there's no competence in this administration. That's not just like a cheap shot or a political shot or media shot. I mean, I think it's obvious.
It is obvious. Consequently, look what Reagan did to turn this country around. He had nearly 60% of people in his cabinet that had run businesses and were business owners walking into that job. We desperately need business people in office.
John, you've asked for specifics, so I'm going to give you another specific, if that's all right with you.
Go ahead.
So, I said before, abolish the IRS and institute the fair tax, but I want to give you something else very, very specific we could do. We all know in this room the benefits of the free market, and we know that a government-granted monopoly lowers quality and increases costs. You know what? Democrats understand that too. Everyone understands that. People want health care reform. But what is the FDA right now? It is a government-granted monopoly. Why not open that market up? Why can't we have multiple regulatory agencies all looking to compete for seals of approval on foods and drugs and other medications? Quality will increase, the cost will go down, and the $1 trillion of current goods that the FDA now regulates will be opened up. You're going to decrease federal spending, and you're also going to increase the amount of new medications that we receive into the market.
I have to look at that. Be careful about that, though. Be careful what you wish for. You might have 3 FDAs at the end of the day, right? I mean, those bureaucracies never go anywhere. Let me ask you guys this. We're going to get some questions here. I'm going to mix it up with my own stuff and their stuff and everything like that. As a show of hands, state and federal, how many, if you could wave a magic wand and get it passed, would be willing to cut the budget of either the state or the feds by 10%?
Minimum.
How many for 20%? 30%? How many are willing to get rid of the IRS? How many want to privatize Social Security?
Oh, yeah.
How many want to pass the Citizens Power Initiative?
Oh, yeah. Good.
Okay. How many want to get rid of the EPA, or at least the California EPA?
Oh, yeah. Down with those bad boys. We need to drill, baby.
How many want to cut taxes significantly?
Oh, yeah.
How many are for the flat or fair tax?
I like that one.
Are we learning things here today, folks?
Good.
All right.
Did we all raise our hands?
Hold on. We'll get a gold star in a second. Now let's get some questions out here. I know you guys are hungry to ask some questions. I want to go to the audience here. Yes. What questions do you have? Questions. Ms. Viviana.
I might have missed this because I just got here, and thank you to all of you for being here. This is critical for the state because we're in trouble. Immigration and doing ICE sweeps that are un-American. How many of you are willing to send people back that are here illegally?
You know, I love immigrants. I work with immigrants every day. And what I think we need to remember is that immigrants need to be more like Americans, and Americans need to be more like immigrants. They remind me of the work that a lot of people are not willing to do, especially in tough times like this. And I think another area that could be revisited is the repealing of the 14th Amendment. Do you know that we are the only country on the planet that has, if you're born here, whether your parents are here illegally or not, that you're an automatic citizen?
Well, here's the thing about that, right? And I'm half Hispanic and half, I guess, Anglo or whatever. And, you know, I'm mutt like most people in the United States.
You're a mutt.
I'm a mutt. I'm a happy mutt. But I mean, I agree with you, right? I think it's a complex issue, meaning that most immigrants here, whether they're legal or not, are very hardworking people. They're just trying to support their family, whether they're working in Central Valley or whatever. And I don't think any American begrudges a hardworking individual that's trying to put food on their table and ours and other stuff like that. So I would be, me personally, not that I'm running for anything, would be in favor of like a guest worker program. Because I mean, you know, why not get taxes from these folks? Why not get them in the system? Why not be able to collect something back? Because they're going to go in the hospital anyway, they're going to go in the schools anyway, whatever. But I think there's also another issue in terms of security. Because Al-Qaeda could walk across the border like anybody else, right? Or fly a plane or something like that. So I think Americans, if they understand, if we can solve something on the security issue, if we can have a guest worker program, if we know where these folks are, I think it would be better maybe for everybody, and maybe we get to a place of safety. Now that being said, I think some kind of better border security, I don't know if necessarily we need a fence or not, the experts can figure that out, but some kind of electronic surveillance, some kind of fence at some junctures. You have to have security in any country that doesn't have some kind of strong immigration security and policy has problems. You look at Germany, you look at other countries throughout the world, right? I mean, we have a situation here, even with our economic problems, with America, it's still the beacon for the world. And if we had an amnesty program like we did back with the whole Cuban thing, you know, back in the Reagan days, you'll have another 20 million, and then another 30. And you know, at some point, it just doesn't work. So we have to have something that makes some sense. And so me personally, I don't fall in the sloganeering either way, but I think it's a little bit more...
Can I say just one thing about that?
Absolutely.
A lot of people are talking about a guest worker program because the immigrants, illegal immigrants, are taking jobs that Americans don't want to do. I say that is a bunch of bunk. My mother went from farm to farm picking fruit, and she was a migrant worker. She was not an immigrant, she was white, she was raised and so forth. That was the job her family did. It's not that Americans don't want to do the job, it's that they make too much money on welfare that they'd have to take a cut and pay to go pick the fruit.
All right, it all relates to each other.
Okay, now we're talking. Nobody up here, when we could specify, and I didn't want to take a lot of time, because I have some solid answers, but nobody specified the fact that illegal immigrants are draining our medical services, they're draining our welfare, they're draining government programs. How many languages do we print on the ballot now for somebody? Seriously. This is the United States.
We created that problem.
That's right, they did. That's exactly right. We need to solve that problem. What I would like to see illegal or immigration...
You guys can talk to each other, by the way, just don't try to talk too much over each other. This is good.
What I would like to see immigration return to is when my family came over here at the turn of the century. They went through Ellis Island. They were not going to be granted citizenship unless they learned the English language. This is the United States of America. We speak English.
And the Constitution.
They were not going to be granted citizenship until they learned the Constitution.
Right.
And furthermore, taxpayers weren't going to support them through unemployment, through welfare, through Medicare, and all these other programs if they weren't willing to work. Ironically, I don't know how many of the state people know this, but what is shipped over from illegal immigrants to Mexico every year is almost within a couple bucks of what the budget shortfall, the deficit here in the California budget.
One of the ways to slow down or prevent illegal immigration, punish the employers that are hiring them. If they don't have jobs here waiting for them, they won't be coming here. You can see that when the recession started, we were having reverse immigration out of here.